3, 2, 1. Well, how would you like to keep your relationship or stay married? Well, if you'd like to keep that status on Facebook, you may want to log off Facebook. According to an article in the Huffington Post, 1 in 7 people said they've considered divorce because of their spouse's questionable activity on Facebook, Skype, Snapchat, Twitter, or the WhatsApp. And that is a recent survey of 2,000 married people. Here to help us, John and Robbie Yopst. They run Caught in His Arms Marriage Ministry, and they are here to help us stay happy in our relationships and maybe even get to stay on social media. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning, Angie. How are you?
I have to tell you, one of the stories that disturbed me the most in the last year, it was outside of a drugstore, and there was a shooting. A new husband came apparently to shoot his wife because she had posted what he thought was a racy picture on social media. I looked at it, didn't look that racy to me. And a good Samaritan, a father of, I believe, 3 kids, the red-haired guy with the beard was there with his wife. And he's a big personal trainer. He went to grab his gun to defend the woman, and he was shot and killed. And so I'm like, really? Over a Facebook picture? And so people obviously have jealousy issues. They change statuses. They play out their relationships on social media. So how do we stay happy with social media and then also in our relationships?
Well, I guess the first thing about social media, and especially using it on the phone, you see it when you walk around with people. It's like, no one's looking at one anymore. No one is making eye contact. Everyone's heads down in their phone. I kind of jokingly refer to it as 45 degrees of separation because my head's down 45 degrees so I can look at my phone.
Right.
And so it's just this strange thing that we've gotten, and now we can communicate with anyone, anywhere, all the time, 24 hours a day, but we can't communicate when we're face to face. One of the biggest problems with the whole social media thing is secrecy. So I can be doing something on social media. Robbie can be doing something. Well, even you, Angie. Even Angie could be doing something, and your husband doesn't know.
Well, so he's not on social media. He doesn't have time for it, so I'm the only one. And what's really creepy...
then everything you do, he doesn't know.
Well, what's really creepy, John, is he's so creeped out by it. He'll be somewhere, and he'll run into a mutual friend or a former colleague of his, and she'll be like, oh my gosh, your vacation in Florida looks so great, and I can't believe you got in a car accident. And he's like, how do they know this? I'm like, Facebook.
Yeah. Well, so the solution to that would then be just to make sure that your spouse knows about all your accounts and all your passwords.
Nothing is secret.
No secrets.
No secrets.
Yeah, and it's amazing how many marriages there's so many secrets on social media. So if I ever ask John anything, what you put on LinkedIn today, he will answer me, and I know his passwords, he knows mine.
Right.
It just totally keeps us from that secrecy, because secrecy can kill.
Well, and I think what I'm seeing, too, with just friends and people I know, like maybe an old boyfriend from college or high school contacts you, and then you start venting with each other, and all of a sudden the friendship or relationship rekindles. And I think that it's an easy place to get into trouble because it's almost like a secret meeting room, a secret coffee date with someone that you wouldn't meet for coffee. Right. You wouldn't meet them at a bar, but you can meet them on Facebook.
And emotional affairs that don't include any physicality can be just as dangerous, if not more, in a marriage. So emotional affairs, a lot of people say, well, at least we didn't kiss or we didn't meet or we didn't have sex, but it's still damaging, especially to a woman's heart. Emotional affairs are just as dangerous. Yeah. And our second problem basically goes with that. It can separate the couples. Like, I hate going to a restaurant and seeing a couple out for a date and they're both on their phones.
Yeah, I agree.
And
families, teaching your kids that. So it actually puts distance in between you literally as well as you sit and you spend time on social media. And Robbie, just so you know, I spell the word sex on the show. I spell it.
Oh, good. I will.
Although I think most people do know, most people do know how to spell it, though. So I guess that's probably not a good way to do it. Okay, so we can talk about sex.
I'm a terrible speller. What are we talking about?
All right, so stop taking time away from each other. Put the phones down. Turn them off. Leave them in the car. Silence them.
That's exactly the solution. Is find some time every day where you are together without any screens.
No screens.
No screens.
All right, what are the other problems? I would say that what I see is people getting vindictive on Facebook. Like they get in an argument, they change the status from like married to questionable or whatever it is, or complicated. Or I knew one girl who broke up her entire marriage on Facebook, and she did a play-by-play of like his affair and what he said and what he did and how they were dividing the dog. And I was like horrified, you know?
Well, divorce lawyers, when they meet with the couple, the husband or wife, whoever they're representing, one of the first questions they ask is, do you have anything on Facebook that we can use against your spouse?
Wow.
And then the second thing is, delete everything that they could use against you.
Wow.
Or on any social media. So it's becoming part of the courts more and more. And that brings us to our third problem, basically, is what you were saying, is that it will totally separate spouse from spouse, even legally. It can lead to a divorce. There's a statistic by Brandon Gould, who is a marketing expert.
Beautiful
and
name.
He said, yeah, I know, horrible last name, but he said 1 in every 7 marriages, every 7 divorces in 2015 had the word Facebook.
Wow, that is
part of the complaint.
Unbelievable.
And you even mentioned earlier, getting in touch with old boyfriends, old girlfriends. There's this interesting psychological thing that goes on. It's called euphoric recall. So we have this ability that we will only remember the good things, not remember the bad things about those relationships. And then we start to do this comparison game of, well, you're so much better than my spouse. You're more attractive, or you're more understanding, or you're more available, or
Yes.
you're whatever.
Yes.
And if they're more, then then my spouse is less,
Yes.
and I don't want less.
I'll bet you'd rub my feet. I'll bet you he'd be so nice. I love back scratches. I'll bet you'd scratch my back. You know what I mean? Like really just like, yeah, that Cinderella, euphoric
You never
memory.
leave the toilet seat up.
Oh, yeah,
Right.
never. All right. I want to make sure.
So the
Go ahead.
solution to that problem, because we're very much into behavior as solutions, is when you're on social media, brag about your spouse. Talk
Yeah.
about them. Talk about their good things, not their bad things.
It's funny you say that, John. You've talked them up because my husband, when he hears my radio show, he's like, people don't want to hear how great I am. People want to hear about a jerk and how I have stinky feet and how I always leave the car empty when you borrow it, which he does, by the way. It's always on E. It's like a family joke. Can I use your car, Angie? Oh, great. It means I have to go get gas in yours then. All right. So how do we find you and your marriage ministry?
CaughtInHisArms.com. Please come by, and September 24th, we're having a seminar, so come on over and sign up.
Excellent. And just so you know, John and Robbie, at year 7, they did separate, and they have the best romance now, married 20 years. Thank you both very much.
Thanks, Angie.
Thanks, Angie.
Look at you, so snuggly. Snuggly.